Welcome everybody. I'm really happy to see you all, and it's really cool to see some familiar faces. So I'm really curious, who attended the previous meeting, the one from 2 weeks ago? Can you give me some emoticons? Awesome. Very cool. So is there somebody in here who's in Altspace for the first time? Oh, quite a lot of people actually. So if you need any help during the meeting or you are struggling, please let us know. You can unmute yourself and ask a question or raise your hand. So this is the second Researchers in VR meeting, and I feel very happy and very honored to be in this virtual space with you all. Probably you're all students, researchers, friends of mine, or other great minds. And it's really nice to come together in these crazy times to spend some time talking about research, right? For the ones who don't know me yet, I'm Evelien. I have a bachelor in psychology, and I'm now busy with finishing my master's of educational science and technology. And I'm busy with my final research being about assessment in VR. So I'm not here alone, I'm here with my wonderful research team, which helps me organize and moderate these events and workshops. And without them, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much. I will tell you their names. So the ones who are here are Keith, we have Connie, Sam will be here shortly, we have Ron, Serenity, Andrew, and Victoria. So let me tell you about the planning for upcoming hours so you have an idea about what we're going to do in this meeting. First, I will tell you a little bit more about the idea and goals behind these meetings and the community we're trying to build to get everybody kind of on the same page, I guess. Secondly, last week we spoke about and tested out Qualtrics service in VR, and the question came up, what about Google Forms? So there will be an activity for that. We are going to do some kind of speed dating activity among researchers to get to know each other and find out what kind of research we are doing or what kind of topics we are interested in. So we can form a little bit more of a community, which will be very fun, right? After that, I received some requests from researchers who are in need of, for example, participants or in need of advice from you guys from the group. So I would really like to give you a place on the stage if you are wanting to promote your research or if you have some troubles with, for example, gathering data during these times. So you can ask the group for help. And we can get to know you a little bit better and hear what you're doing. And then we will end with briefly giving you a teaser of upcoming events for the research team and for Education VR. Or any other highlights that might be interesting for you research geeks. So let's start with telling you a little bit more about the idea of creating a research project team in VR, under the umbrella of Educators in VR. So the idea of organizing this researchers get-together meeting came up during a brainstorm with the research team, especially when the coronavirus became a real big problem. We decided these types of meetings with fellow research people were needed more than ever. I mean, to name an example, I've been working on the design for my research for a couple of months now. And it was really difficult because I had to work together with a lot of parties to make it all happen. And I was just about done when I was suddenly stuck at home because of the corona crisis. With the design where a lot of people had to put headsets on their heads and follow my training and assessment. So that was not going to happen anymore, right? Because of the whole hygiene problem right now with the pandemic. So I was a little bit stuck, and if you have worked so long on a specific design, it's quite hard to look at it from a different point of view. So it was great to discuss the situation and possible solutions with fellow researchers through this medium. So because of this, we got the idea to organize these bi-weekly events, so every other week, to help each other and to create a community, which makes everything more fun, right? So the main goals are discussing ideas, networking, helping and inspiring each other. These things are things we really would like to provide during these meetings and workshops we will be organizing. We just launched a new initiative, namely the VR Research Help Wanted campaign. It's really just launched. Dorel just published the article on the website and on the Discord. And basically, the idea stems from the fact that during these times, it can be really difficult to gather data. And therefore, we created a new channel on the Discord underneath research called Help Wanted in Research. So if you're doing any research in VR, AR, XR, or other related topics or industries, and you really want some attention and wish to spread the word and allow us to help you out, then you can post your survey or any other question over there, and we can help each other out, which will be really cool, right? So if you're now standing here and thinking, I actually didn't manage it, or you will come across some problems, please let me know and I can help you out. Because on the Discord, we can talk further about these topics. So we have the meetings, we have some workshops we are planning to organize, and we already have planned, and we have the Discord through where we can communicate with each other about, for example, sharing research articles, having discussions, having some social activity, and also now the sharing surveys and helping each other out topic. Workshops will be organized by researchers who are interested in presenting their research, for example, Sam from our research team. Or if you want to present anything else related to your research, that's fine. If you are thinking now, I'm interested in doing that, please contact me, because we are just facilitating a platform here for everybody to share their knowledge and inspire other people or join these workshops. So there's definitely a place on stage for you to present your research, for sure. Last week, we spoke about surveys in VR, and then we tried out Qualtrics. We told you that Google Forms was a struggle. Turns out we were wrong. It does properly work in VR. So I will send you guys all a link, and I put some example questions, different types of questions in there. And you can, if you want, you can just check it out, scroll through it, interact with the survey, and come up with some pros and cons, especially compared to Qualtrics. That would be really fun. So I've sent you all a link, and you can just open it and check it out. No? So what device are you on? Maybe it's your device. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm on the Quest.
On the Quest. So who else is on the Quest, and does it work or doesn't it work? We're just testing it out right now.
Yeah, I expect it to work. Yeah.
It works, only there was a delay. There was a delay in being able to answer the questions, and then a delay in being able to scroll.
Okay, well, that's not that nice. I think Qualtrics had no delay at all, or almost no delay, right? For the ones who were here last time.
At least that was for me, anyway.
Isn't it such a bandwidth issue?
I was going to say a bandwidth issue. Yeah. So, if you've got a slow internet connection or something like that, or you've got a lot of interference at home, it will cause a delay.
Yeah, there you go. So it's probably a bandwidth issue.
So if you've got the bar up and it's a clear screen, it just means it hasn't loaded yet. It does take a while sometimes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's my wife's fault. She's teaching upstairs.
One more time,
Is there a way that you can move the screen up higher? Like people are standing in front of my screen, so is there a way that I can move it so it's up above?
Did you get that?
With the Quest.
Serenity said it was with the trigger.
The trigger.
If you're on the Quest, yeah. So you grab it and just pull it up.
side one. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Oh, the side one. Yeah, got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
With
You can
the
scroll with the joystick.
If you've got a question.
joystick. Yeah.
Okay, Fiswick, you are on megaphone right now, so we can hear you.
So I just wanted to share, I'm in Nicholas's Unity class, so I take the course
Yes.
from Nicholas.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I'm
Now you
used
can
using
tell
these
us something.
forms with him. And this
Yes.
is what we found at the very first class or two. It took the first couple times through for everybody to figure out all these little things with the forms. One of the biggest problems was, I think it was Rel was commenting on it. If you have any kind of menus in behind your thing, it'll kind of go right through the form and think you're trying to use the menu. And so it won't work on the form. That was one of the biggest problems people had. And it just took a while to get used to that. But after, like, say, 2 classes, everyone kind of knew how to use the form, and it works great. Nicholas, he puts 2 or 3 of them up during class. We go through, we take 5 minutes, we answer the questions, and then he brings them up on class with everybody's answers, like the percentage, just like reviewing the Google Forms, and it's great. It really does work well. Now, after the first couple times. So I
Yeah,
just thought
so
I'd share.
you guys had to get used to it. Cool. And
Yeah.
if I'm correct, he also shows the answers at the end, right? So he shows
Yeah.
how many people. So how does that look like? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So he does screen sharing with his computer. So his screen goes live to our big screen, like up here. And then he basically brings up the form and he can scroll through it because he just basically gets the output from Google Forms. And then he's able to kind of scroll through and just basically show us the answer. And it's for a course, so it'll be about the topic that we're on. And then he'll sort of use the question almost like a teaching tool. So he'll say, oh, like, everybody got this one right, so everyone's kind of getting that. Oh, here's one that was like people were unsure about, so let's talk about that question. How is it? So he's using it like a teaching tool that way. But it would
Awesome.
work for a survey tool for research as well. In a thing
Yeah.
you can easily get a few questions up and get that research feedback right in the class.
Definitely. Yeah, you can also import the result in an Excel sheet, so not directly into SPSS or anything like that, as Qualtrics provides. But that's still, you can import Excel and SPSS, so that's great. So there's no problem considering that thing. So now I would really love to get to know each other a little bit more in a fun way. So I proposed a little speed dating game with rounds of, what shall we do? Let's keep it not too brief, 2 minutes, something like that. Round of 2 minutes. So we will have 3 rounds of 2 minutes, and I want to challenge you to get to know 3 people you don't know yet and get to know what they're interested about, what kind of research they're doing, or if they aren't doing any research, what is their interest in VR. Also, keep in mind, if we will all stand here in this room, it will get really noisy. So please move out of the room, go stand somewhere else in the world with your partner, and try to get to know each other. So find somebody, go stand somewhere else, and I will tell you go and stop, and let's try it that way.
To everyone else. Shall we go somewhere? Because it's really noisy.
We could go over there.
That sounds good.
Like we're doing exploratory and experimental work around multisensory experiences, especially to do with sensuality, sexuality, like sensuality in VR, and that could be induced through tech.
Okay.
So we're actually doing an event on Thursday. If you like it, yeah, I can invite you. We're actually doing a conference. Like we did 3 conferences before. Regular events in London. And since we can't do regular events anymore, so the 4th one we're doing VR.
I can hear you. It's quite noisy, but yes, I think I can hear you.
Okay.
Next 2 minutes. Next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The last one also.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
I'm also a bit finding it difficult to navigate in this space.
Great. Have you been in Laval virtual during this week?
What's Laval?
Okay, guys.
Laval virtual is one of the biggest conferences.
There will be more enough time to talk later. Okay, cool. So I really hope that you got to know each other a little bit better and found some interesting people, maybe have enlarged your network a little bit. I also hope you like this little exercise. And I got some very useful feedback on it. So if you also have some feedback, please let me know, because I'm really open to improve this for everyone. Like I said, I would really like to give some place on the stage for you guys if you want to talk about your own research or promote your own research survey, or if you need some help. So I kindly ask you, if you are interested, to raise your hand so I can get you a megaphone. You can stand next to me, somewhere next to me, and ask your question about your research or promote your own research. Isaac, come on stage. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right here.
Well, go ahead.
So I'm with a group of creatives. We're called Raspberry Dream Labs. And we do experimental and exploratory work to do with multisensory experiences, VR, sensuality and sexuality in VR, and in like other unusual and technology-mediated environments. And we're actually hosting a conference on Thursday. So look us up, Raspberry Dream Labs. On top of that, I'm a software and electronic engineer, and I'm looking for opportunities for entrepreneurship, for things that are at the frontier of, let's say, at least consumer technology and gaining interest. So if you have an idea, would like to speak of someone that's more technical, especially from a more infrastructure and backend perspective, then talk to me. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks. Cool. Also, if you want to give us maybe the link on the Discord so we can more easily find it, we don't have to remember it, please do that.
Yeah.
Please go to the Discord channel and put it somewhere in the research. Okay, so is there anyone else who wants to ask a question or wants to promote their research, who is busy with collecting data, for example?
Hi everybody, so I'm Keith. I've recently started collecting data, my psychology master's thesis, and I'm looking at the coronavirus and specifically at isolation and the effects of loneliness and social anxiety. Most of us at the moment are at home, some of us quite possibly alone at home, especially the older generation. I'm specifically interested in AltSpace users, and I want to establish whether virtual social environments can be used to reduce the feelings of loneliness and social anxiety during periods of isolation, and thereby could help to improve a person's psychological well-being during such times. You don't have to have been in AltSpace for very long. In fact, if you're a new AltSpace user, that would be also very helpful for me, because so far most of the respondents are existing AltSpace users, and it'd be good for me to get a wide demographic of people. The only criteria is that you are an AltSpace user and that you're at least 18 years of age. It really doesn't matter whether you have limited or extensive experience in AltSpace. If you are interested in taking part in my study, there is a link to my questionnaire on the Educators in VR Discord channel under the research section. And as Evelyn said, there's a newly created section there called Research Help. wanted. My study should take about 10 minutes to complete. I'd be really grateful for your help, and I also look forward to being able to share the results of my study once the research is finished. Thank you very much, and hope that you take part.
I filled that out myself yesterday, and it doesn't even take 10 minutes, to be honest. And it's a really interesting questionnaire to complete as well. It's well worth having a go at. And I've asked my students, I've got about 30 plus HE students, and I've posted that onto their own Discord channel, which I have for them. And I've asked them to complete it as well, because I think specifically for students, mental health is a major, major issue right now. And this is why I want them to complete it. And I think this will be really interesting evidence and very interesting research. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results. Yeah. Thank you. It's excellent, excellent
I love
research.
that.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Awesome. Great. Well, this is what the community should be all about, helping each other out, right? And inspiring each other. So it's cool to see that that's already happening. Love that. Okay, next one. Again, sorry, I forgot your name. Kanuk. What was your name again?
Yeah,
Please remind me.
Larissa. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I work with Story Futures at Rural Holloway University, and we have a number of prototypes in various different platforms coming up. And we now suddenly faced with the issue of trying to do audience research. That's what I do mainly, is audience platforms coming up. And forum together of people who already have headsets, who might be willing to be part of an online research group, and would then get access to certain prototypes, et cetera, and could answer some surveys and some questions, et cetera, et cetera. So we're in the very initial stages of organizing this, but I thought this would really be a really good place to see if there's interest in that, and if you guys think that something like that would be feasible. So yeah, that's my thing.
Amazing. Is there anything who wants to comment on that? Sam.
Can you describe a bit more what you mean by prototypes?
Yeah, we work with, we have a project right now, for example, with the BBC, where they're creating some new material in virtual reality that is supposed to be helping 16 to 25-year-olds unwind, relax, using oddly satisfying videos on YouTube, and then also seeing if those can be enhanced by virtual reality. So that's one example of the type of thing. We're working with partners and with businesses in our region to create these kinds of prototypes. And that's one example. We've got other things coming up as well, and a number of smaller projects. That's a big one that we're hoping to get into the work shortly.
Sounds really inspiring. Amazing. Cool. So please, also the same comment for you. Share some stuff on the Discord so we can find it all back. We can give you comments on there. Cool. Or anything you need, actually. Please be my guest and do that. Okay, cool. Let's give the microphone to Visway.
Hi.
There you go.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm a university professor in Calgary in Canada, and I work in the psychology department there. I'm doing sort of two projects in VR right now. One is developing a new course for our department. So we're going to do a university credit course delivered entirely in Altspace. We're going to try and do all the sort of traditional lecture content, but it won't be that. But that kind of content delivered in Altspace. And so I have a team from my university. We're developing the course content right now. We just had a meeting before this. We're in our prototype classroom, which is an outdoor space that we're building. And so we're working on this course stuff and doing research around that as well, research in the user end experience. So what that experience will be like for students. There'll be a lot of survey work and research work on that. And then the other project I do, it's more of my academic research, is around virtual reality nature therapy. So I shoot nature videos and then I take them into the lab and then we expose them to people using anxiety tests and stress tests. Look to see if you can use nature videos to lower stress and anxiety levels, but we're trying to do the science behind it, like so we have good solid scientific evidence to show that that works. And so that's the research work that I do. And we're moving some of that research obviously into AltSpace, as many people have said. We can't really do live face-to-face psychology testing anymore, not for this foreseeable future. So we're going to move some of that nature therapy research into AltSpace, where we're going to try and create nature worlds and then expose people to them and measure outcomes for stress reduction. So we'll be working on that project. The last thing I thought I'd just throw in is in my areas of teaching, I teach in perception, like visual perception is my area of expertise within psychology. So I'm in psychology, but I'm not a clinical guy. I have no clinical background. I'm an experimental psychology guy. But because of that, one of the things I teach a lot in is methodological design for research. So I teach a couple of different courses on how to structurally design research studies to get good data, that kind of a thing. So if anybody is looking to do research and doesn't really have a lot of background in that and would like some help with that, that might be something I could offer. So anyway, just amazing. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, cool. Also, please put something like that on the Discord so we know how to find you there. That's so cool that you offered that. I really appreciate it, and I see that a lot of other people do that as well.
Thanks,
very
guys.
cool. Okay, we have time for one more. Danico. There you go.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very great. Okay, wow, this is crazy. I've never done this before, so this is something new for me. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm a student researcher at the University of Applied Sciences in Salzburg, Austria. And at the moment I'm writing my master thesis about the application of virtual reality in tourism. And the idea was, because COVID-19 is obviously affecting every one of us, in Austria at least, we cannot travel anywhere at the moment. We are basically locked down. We are not really allowed to travel domestically either. So the idea was, is virtual reality able to kinda replace physical travel in times when you cannot physically travel? And for this, I designed a short questionnaire and put up a video so people can look through it in virtual reality and basically answer questions based on a risk perception model that I created and see whether the higher the risk perception towards traveling towards currently with the COVID-19 virus affects if you would also use virtual reality in order to travel virtually, basically. And yeah, I'm not really far that yet. I have just created and sent out my questionnaire, went through literature review, and I'm basically trying to find some people who are interested in this project and helping out. And maybe I will come back to you later, because I probably could need some help in methodology and analyzing the results. So yeah, that's basically it.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I also saw you put your questionnaire on the Discord. So if people want to help you out, please go to the Discord and go to the new channel underneath the research channel. And you can help both you and Keith Kenyon out. So that would be cool if you guys could help with that.
That would be great.
It's so cool to hear what you all are doing, and I really hope we can collaborate with each other and make this whole situation a little bit better. And even more than that, right? It's not only about this situation with the coronavirus, but also about inspiring each other. It doesn't really matter if there's a virus, right? That was only the catalyst for making this all happen. Okay, I want to give you some heads up for some interesting events to attend. For example, at Sunday, April the 26th, Sam will give us a workshop, and I would really like to give Sam a chance to tell us something about that.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sam Reno. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, very good. So I'm a PhD candidate and also a full-time professional I'm a manager at a large utility company in the central United States. My upcoming presentation will consider how philosophical worldviews can help us understand how knowledge is created with different applications of VR and AR. I've used VR and AR for applications at my workplace. Actually, I've collaborated with different technology companies to create the applications, and I've implemented those into applications at my work for different scenarios. And I have plans to use VR in my university research. As a PhD candidate, it's time for me to create my dissertation proposal. I had a plan that I think is affected by the pandemic. I think we've talked about that a bit before. I'm having to reevaluate my best path forward. But, I kind of a little teaser on the workshop discussion we'll have. I think an understanding of our philosophical worldviews can help us convey the power of different applications to people without much knowledge of mixed reality technologies. Are you seeking to construct knowledge as people interact through VR, or are you seeking to convey objective knowledge of reality, such as showing the proper steps of machinery maintenance with AR? These are questions that I think have a parallel for researchers. Are you performing a pragmatic study to solve a VR tech problem, or do you have an action agenda? I think I've heard some of that here. Change some aspects of society, perhaps through a virtual experience, of lives of refugees, maybe, or a transformative worldview. And, so these are the 4 philosophical worldviews a researcher should consider, according to John Creswell, who I think is a prolific author on research methodologies. In the book Research Design, Creswell stated that individuals preparing a research proposal should make explicit the larger philosophical ideas they espouse. For me, wrestling with this question, and as I consider my own research proposal, it causes me to reflect on what kind of change I am seeking to create through my research. And I hope that an outcome of our upcoming workshop is that the audience would like to engage and discuss the future research project we have, or perhaps maybe a future group research project, to help us recognize the kind of change we are seeking to create in the world with research into mixed reality technologies.
Awesome. I love that. Well, his workshop will be on April the 26th. So you can just look it up on the event page of Altspace. I will definitely be there, and I hope he sparked your curiosity also to be there too. So really cool that you will organize the first workshop. It's an honor. I wish you best of luck. We'll speak soon about it. So I have some other little announcements to make. So our next meeting will be the same day, the same time in 2 weeks. So that will be May the 5th. That will be a similar meeting as this meeting. If you have any other suggestions or want to see something in a different way, please let me know. Furthermore, I have seen that this meeting was full. Also, a lot of people couldn't get in at first. So I will try and do my best to make sure we will get a bigger room where more people can join without making these meetings not that intimate anymore. So that will be my task for the next time. I will figure that out. I will promise you that will be a little bit better. Also, don't forget, in half an hour, Tom Furness will give a workshop in Altspace right now, today. And Tom Furness is a really cool guy. He's the founder of the Virtual World Society. And he's actually widely known as the grandfather of virtual reality. So if you are bored, that's really a cool workshop to go to tonight. Hour and a half away. Oh, okay. Still tonight. Good, thank you. I thought it was in half an hour. Well, then it will be a little bit late for me, but I hope you guys can all make it. I also really want to thank all of the guys, all of the research team members here, namely Keith and Serenity, Fox, Ron, Victoria, Connie, Laurel also, and Sam, thank you so much for helping out to make this work and providing us with cool knowledge and workshops. And it's also very cool to see a lot of familiar faces here. For example, Tim, Dana, I saw Tony, I saw Rob, and I saw my 2 Rons. There are actually 2 Rons. So thank you so much for showing up. And I would really love to see all of you guys again next week so we can really form a little community and get to know each other better, become friends, and help each other out in times of need. So that was the meeting already. We're 3 minutes over. You can hang around here and socialize if you like. Please join the Discord. I also post some pictures of these meetings on there, which is really fun and silly. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed it and hope to see you soon. Have a nice evening or morning, whatever time zone you're in. Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you.
I hope you guys appreciate it.